Hello everyone, welcome back. This is going to be the heart of this content, and we're going to be talking today about managing your classroom. Okay, managing your classroom. So for some of you, this is going to be the most daunting thing, and for some of you, it's going to come to you very, very naturally. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath. We're going to go ahead and dive right in. Okay. So in earlier videos, we talked about nonviolent communication, and that really is going to come into play as far as your classroom behavior management style is concerned. Okay, so for the kind of person that needs to be right all the time, classroom behavior management is going to be real hard for you. Okay, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So students, teenagers, and adults are not doing anything that's against you. So most of the time, they are misbehaving because of the frustration that they feel within themselves. Okay, so that's going to be really important to know, because if you can take it away, take yourself away from the role of victim in the situation, it's going to be much easier to go ahead and apply some of these interventions. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about different sets of students that you might see in your classroom. So your classroom is set up beautifully the way that you want. You've got a routine going that you've been able to just roll out and blueprint over and over again. And now you have a student that just does not want to pay attention to you. Okay, so doesn't care about you, is constantly getting up and out of their seats, or older, constantly getting up and going to the bathroom, or even older, just ignoring you. Okay, so you've got that student that's just acting out. Step one, you're just going to take a deep breath and be still. Okay, so step one is just to take a breath and be still. Okay, step two, you're going to watch. You're just going to watch. You're going to watch for a period of 3 seconds, all the way up to a minute, all the way up to a day. You're just going to watch them, watch their behavior, and watch what they're doing. Step three, you're going to assess. In that watching, you're going to assess, is the behavior dangerous, and can the student be harmful to themselves or others? Okay, so once you determine if it's dangerous, if it is dangerous, you're going to want to use a big voice and get the behavior to stop. Okay, if it is dangerous, you're going to want to use a big voice, and you're going to want the behavior to stop. The easiest way to get people who are learning a different language to stop what they're doing is to say freeze. Okay, so again, the best way to get your students to stop what they're doing is going to be to say freeze. Unfortunately, stop doesn't work. Don't do that doesn't work. For some reason, those words just don't land. I'm not sure why. I think freeze is a lot of fun because they know it from games and songs and things like that, and the movies and television. So freeze is going to be your word of your safety word. Your safety word to try to get a student to stop is going to be freeze. Okay. Next, you're going to give them instructions for what to do next. Clear, concise instructions for what to do next. So, freeze. Go ahead and make your way slowly back to your seat. Okay, freeze. Put the pencil down. Freeze. Both of you let go. Okay, so just a very simple instructions for what to do, what you want them to do after they freeze, okay? And you're just gonna say freeze once. You're gonna say the phrase that you're trying to get them, the instructions that you're trying to get them to do, you're gonna say it slowly and calmly and in a calm voice, okay? If someone is in imminent danger, then your voice can go up higher, you can yell. But that is the only time that you're yelling at your students. I will repeat that. When your students, or if your students are in danger, is the only time that your voice should go up. Actually, there is one more time. I'll tell you about it later. But this for safety is one of the only reasons that your voice should go up. You should never find yourself yelling a lot at your students. Okay, if you're yelling a lot, or if you see that you're yelling a lot, you have to go back and look at the strategy and figure out which one of your needs is not being met, and try to figure out if you can get your needs met by yourself, or if you can talk to a coworker or a colleague or a director or someone else, okay, or a friend. But you can't take it out on your students, I'm afraid. It doesn't paint a very good classroom setting. Okay, so try not to raise your voice. You've got the kids, you're trying to get them to do something. You've said freeze, they're doing something that could be potentially dangerous. So you've said freeze and put the thing down, or freeze and you've given them a set of instructions. Okay, after that, if it's dissipated, if it's over, perfect, that was it. Everybody goes back to working and you're totally fine. You can keep on moving. Okay, if the situation is much, much worse, so if the situation is that a kid is hitting another kid, for instance, and you didn't catch it in time, so a kid has landed a punch on another student, then what you're going to do is, again, you're going to say freeze, and then you're going to give him instructions. So I need you to sit. I'm going to need you to stand right there and don't move for just a moment. And I'm going to talk to this other kid. We're going to go outside and talk about this. And you can take them outside of the classroom, or you can take them to the back of the classroom, depending on how many students and how good your students are. If your students can be trusted, you can take them outside. If your students you already know cannot be trusted, then you're just going to want to take and talk to them at the side of the room. Before you take them back, go ahead and give your other students other instructions. Okay, so go ahead and give your students other instructions. Now, if your other students are very unruly, and very wild, you can go ahead and put on a video, or you can go ahead and start the teaching content, or give them instructions for finishing page 2 or 3 or whatever. Just give them a task that's going to keep them busy while you take the 2 offending students and have a conversation with them. Okay, so you're not just going to want to start yelling at them in front of the class, because that just brings the chaos way up and your classroom is no longer safe. Is no longer a safe space. If you start yelling at students over the heads of other students in your classroom is not safe. Okay, your classroom is not safe. So you definitely don't want to ever find yourself in that situation. Okay, so you've got the fighting students, and now you're bringing them to the back of the room and you're having a conversation with them. At this point, I am going to get on the same level as my students. So if my students are short, I'm going to go down. If my students are tall, I'm going to actually bend down just a little bit to make my height a little bit lower than theirs. This is especially true of preschool students all the way up to high school. I'm not trying to win a fight with them, and I'm not trying to just be right with them. I'm trying to teach them with dignity and respect, and as humanely as possible, to try to get to the bottom of what was going on. Okay, so, and from there, I can do a little bit of investigation of who did what was going on, giving each student a chance to be heard and things like that. And then going from there, okay, and addressing the situation from there. Okay, if they're fighting over something, you can easily have them not fight over it by doing a quick game of rock, scissors, paper, or Rochambeau. If I had it first, no, he had it first, no, I had it first, no, I had it first, then just go ahead and, okay, quick, rock, scissors, paper, let's see, whoever gets it wins, and then check in, make sure that that's okay, and they can keep moving. Okay, so rock, paper, scissors is gonna be a golden, wonderful friend of yours, so especially when students are fighting over something else. If another student is hitting, then of course, if a student is hitting, it's not tolerated in your classroom, then you can go ahead and explain to them what the repercussions are for them hitting and what happens if they hit next time and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so, but again, you're teaching each student with dignity and respect, and you yourself are calm, you yourself are not angry, you haven't been triggered in any way, because they're not doing these things against you. They're just doing these things because they're kids, okay? Or if they're grown-ups, they're just doing these things because they're stressed. Okay, so hopefully in high school students, they're just doing these things because they don't want to be there, and that's okay. Okay, it's okay that they don't want to be in your classroom, all right? Okay, so that actually transitions us into the next kind of student.